This report on the 10th Kilimanjaro Premium Lager Marathon is proudly brought to you by Kilimanjaro Premium Lager. Tanzania's largest sporting event and one of Africa's great road races, the Kilimanjaro Premium Lager Marathon celebrated its 10th anniversary this year. From small beginnings a decade ago, the race has grown in size and importance. Today there is a full marathon, a half marathon, a disabled half marathon race and a fun run. John Addison of organisers Wild Frontiers looks back to a time when this race was still a distant dream.
Well, 2002, we spent a lot of time up here doing kiddie climbs and other adventure activities. We thought it'd be a good idea to start an event, the Kilimanjaro Marathon. It's a lovely place to run and there's some very good athletes in this area. And by 2003 we got our first one done, which was a little baby, actually 250 people, so the growth is incredible. In that first race we ran most of it on dirt. The improvement in the road infrastructure obviously meant we could do a proper event on tarmac. We've got some very good runners out of this event. I mean, the whole idea of the event is to help grow athletics in Tanzania, and a lot of the youngsters who've proven themselves in this event have gone on to do greater things, both Kenyan and Tanzanian. So I think it's doing its job, and there's obviously the tourism attraction factor, which is where we come in. You know, people like to come and run in crazy places like this, and that's what we do, and it's a really beautiful place to run and people enjoy it. And yeah, we've got 40 different nationalities plus coming to this event, so it's good, it's doing its job. It's attracting tourism to Tanzania, which is part of our function. Our sponsors have been great. I think that's one of the major things that have made this event such a success. They've stuck with us through the good times and the bad times. And I think they get their value out of it, or they wouldn't have stayed with us. But they're also very good people and the top companies in Tanzania, which is great. So it's nice to mix with the right people. And yeah, thank you to them as well for sticking with it. Hopefully see you in 10 years' time as well.
One aspect of the race that has not changed over the years is the venue for registration. The Keys Hotel in Moshi, and runners from all over the world converged there, excited about another run in the shadow of Mount Kilimanjaro.
2003, this is the time when the marathon started here, and registration has been here at Keys Hotels. We welcome all the foreigners and the locals as well.
We were just looking online to look for a marathon to do in Africa, and we thought, oh, this looks great, plus we're going to go climb Mount Kili afterwards, so we're looking forward to that.
I am 88 years old. I have a Guinness World Record. I have run a marathon on every continent. I'm the oldest woman that has done that.
Disabled sport is a big component of large events these days, and the Kilimanjaro Marathon is no exception. Competitors in this event had their own registration, as well as special products designed to help them finish the race in good health. This year the race also attracted blind competitors, one of whom came all the way from Sweden.
The original plan was to have a guide from Sweden with me, but he had to stay at home. So then I sent an email to some companies down here. I know it's a country full of great runners, and then so I got a reply from Simon, a really fast one, so I'm very happy for that, and we'll start training together tomorrow, so it's plenty of time.
There was also a collection made of used running shoes, all the way from Canada, which were donated to underprivileged local runners.
Thank you so much. They will be useful to a lot of our runners. You have seen this, you can see basically they are for training. Oh, thank you so much for the things you've given us. Thank you so much.
A golf day for the sponsors was held this year, the day before the race.
We do this golf day the day before the marathon, and the objective is to get all the sponsors, the corporate sponsors of the marathon together so that we can get to know each other, we can get them to know TPC and the region, and just get into the mood for the next day, the big marathon.
The golf day was a great success and was enjoyed by everyone.
We are enjoying. It's hot. Warm day today.
Kilimanjaro, the greatest place on earth.
While some shots made the middle of the fairway, others were somewhat off the mark. A mass participation event such as this needs full community involvement. So this year, Kilimanjaro Premium Lager staged a street concert where local musicians showed just what they could do. Technically, the Kilimanjaro Marathon meets the highest international standards of course measurement.
Yes, well, right from the start we decided that we would have a proper marathon. That is one that's measured in accordance with the IAAF and AIMS rules. And the importance of that is simply because prize money is quite often attached to breaking a record, and it's important that we have that record on a recognized course right from the start. For example, in 2006 we had somebody who came sixth there and went on to actually win the Berlin Marathon. So you can't do that unless you have an accurately measured route. Now, to measure the route accurately, we still use a method of what's called the calibrated bicycle. Despite all the technology we have with GPS and all the rest of it, the calibrated bicycle is still the route. Now that's a bicycle with a small counter on the front wheel. So each time the wheel revolves, it does so many revolutions of the little counter. And it's extremely accurate.
Overnight rain left the ground wet as the runners arrived in the pre-dawn darkness, but their spirits were not dampened at all by the conditions, and excitement levels were as high as ever. The biggest challenge, of course, lay in the full marathon, which started and finished at the Moshi University. The route took the runners through town and out onto the Arusha Himo Road, coming back into Moshi and then setting off on a long out and back loop on the Sokoine Road. On the way, the water stations of the various sponsors and suppliers would ensure that everyone received the necessary refreshments. Under cloudy skies, the runners lined up for the full marathon race. Ahead of them lay 42.2 kilometers of undulating course around Moshi. As the leaders left the university precinct and headed into town, the favourites were careful not to get sucked into a fast early pace. The time for surging and hard racing would come much later. Consistency is the name of the game in a race such as this. Over the years, this race has attracted more and more top-class international runners, and in these conditions, fast times could be expected. In the men's race, anything under 2 hours 20 would be excellent, with the winner expected to dip under 2:15, whilst amongst the women, sub 2:45 would probably be good enough for a podium place based on past year's results. Leading a race such as this is not easy. All the pressure is on you, and you have to set your own pace. This is why so many of the favourites elected to run together in a huge group, where the pacemaking duties could be shared between several competitors. One of the runners electing to go out front was Timothy Kibbert, whose fluid style and easy pace caught the eye immediately.
We've been involved with Kilimanjaro Marathon since its inception in 2003, and Tanga Cement as a company, we are proud to be part of it. 2008 was a memorable year, was a very incredible year when our MD, the former MD, Mr. Jörg Floman, participated in 5 kilometers fun runners, and he was the first among the people who got into the stadium on time. And then soon after that, he joined our point and started saving the runners.
The leading woman also started the race in a group. In this way, they could judge the pace well and keep a watchful eye on one another. At the first turnaround point on the Arusha Himo Road, race leader Timothy Kibbert was careful not to slip as he took the hairpin bend as a fascinated group of spectators watched him pass. His lead at this stage was more than 15 seconds over the chasing bunch. Judith Muya of Southern Sun Hotels explains her company's involvement in the event.
We are very happy and glad to be back in celebration of 10 years of Kili Marathon to Moshi again. When we started in 2003, we were known as a Holiday Inn, Dar es Salaam, but now we have rebranded, and we thought this is a great opportunity for us to come and back in Moshi and tell the people of Moshi and Kili Marathon that now we're Southern Sun. And my team are there and ready. We'll be serving as we always do, with a smile.
As the runners further back grabbed water at the tables, Timothy Kibbert was still out in front. As he made his way back into central Moshi, the chasing pack was still some way behind and just as large as it had been the whole race. After 10 years, the people of Moshi were quite used to runners racing past their marketplace. Still, they had to stop what they were doing and watch the passing show. The leading women were about 10 minutes behind the top men, and there were 6 of them running in a group. Eveline Atancha was setting the pace for the group, which included Peres Chipkuro, Monica Chepkoech, Pamela Anasumuk and Rosalind David. Idi Rashid Ibrahim of KK Security explains how specially trained dogs are used in his industry.
These dogs is different dogs. Almost we will have 8 dogs with different exercise that how they perform on security issues, on emergency, on commanding. These dogs is exported from South Africa, other from Kenya, that we are using on guarding and security operations for daily.
It's unusual to see the early leaders staying in front for so long, but Timothy Kibbert was making sure that the chasing pack had lots to think about. By now, it was clear that his fast pace was starting to break up the integrity of the pack, with some runners now falling back. Tucked into the pack were most of the favourites, including Ezekiel Kimotai, David Kiprono, Titus Kurgat and Abraham Kogo. As the chasers surged and counter-surged, Timothy Kibbert sailed confidently past halfway. Patrick Ndakana of Precision Air is another supporter of the race.
Kili Marathon is indeed an event which gathers people from different spheres and different corners of the world. And given that we are planning to expand, and we have expanded our destination to the international market, it is important we support diversity, we support sports, we support travel and tourism, and that is why it is, we felt it is important that we participate in the Kili Marathon. And we pledge support and continued support that we will continue participating in this event in the years to come.
By now, the roads around Moshi were full of officials, spectators and runners, not only in the full marathon, but also the half-marathon event as well. As the runners passed in their hundreds, helpers at the water points were extremely busy keeping everyone well hydrated. Like most other major events, Standard Chartered Bank, a sponsor to the marathon, has its own special social commitment initiative. In this case, Seeing is Believing.
Seeing is Believing is a global initiative, a pan-bank. It was a commitment we made at the Clinton Global Initiative in I think 2003 initially, and then reinforced in 2011. What we've committed to as a bank is to raise $100 million and before 2020 and use that towards preventing and treating avoidable blindness, which is a major issue in many of the markets in which we operate. Why we're participating is it's a big event, countrywide, a lot of awareness, and we want to bring awareness to Seeing is Believing, our one of our key initiatives in preventing and treating avoidable blindness.
The final turn point on the marathon route was found out on the Sokoine Road. This was a crucial point as it marked the start of the final run into the finish, and most importantly, the road was gently downhill all the way back. So when Timothy Kibbert went past, he knew it was going to be a do-or-die effort if he was going to hold off the chasing pack. Another long-time supplier to the race is Kilimanjaro Water.
We've been involved as the official drinks since day one, since 2003 when it started. When we started, there were about 250 runners, and we provided about 800 liters of water, 400 liters of CSD, that is carbonated soft drinks, and about 2,500 cups. But this year, we are going to give 11,000 liters of water, 3,000 liters of Coke, and about 40,000 cups. So you can see it's a phenomenal growth from when we started up to where we are now.
Traditionally, this is where the medal contenders make their moves, and David Kiprono, Ezekiel Kimotai and Julius Kilimo finally caught Kibbert. But the plucky leader hung in with them as they tried to pass. Further back, the top women were still together, and there was little daylight between Peres Chipkuro, Monica Chepkoech, Pamela Asesumuk and Kimoyo Chipato. The ladies' race was going to be a cliffhanger. Kibet was doing everything he could to hang on to the lead, but David Kiprono stuck to him like a leech. As they approached the stadium, Kiprono put in the final decisive surge that left Kibet with absolutely no chance. The man in yellow was simply too strong and too fast. Kibet now had to contend with the presence of Ezekiel Kimutai. Coming from the back feeling strong is always easier than hanging on to a position feeling tired. Having taken the lead, Kiprono was running freely now, but he had to keep up the pressure as he did not know how strong Kimutai was behind him. At the finish, the crowd waited in excitement, knowing the first three runners were close. In the end, it was a decisive win for David Kiprono, with Ezekiel Kimutai just getting away from the brave Timothy Kibet in the final few hundred meters. All in all, one of the best Kilimanjaro marathons ever. Julius Kilimo was fourth, with all four men breaking 2 hours 14. Out on the road, there were just two women in contention, Monika Jepkovic and Peres Jepkouriou. Since the final turn, these two had shaken off the others. Both were looking strong, but soon it appeared that Jepkovic was eager to make a move, and she did so in a similar fashion to men's winner Kiprono. In the end, Monika Jepkovic won the race comfortably in 2:42.31, 27 seconds clear of Peres Jepkouriou. By now, there was a huge crowd at the finish, and they warmly applauded the race winners on the podium.